All right, guys, hope you had a nice weekend. Let's talk about these Lauri Markkanen rumors. There was a lot that happened over the weekend, and believe me, I was tempted to come on here and talk about it, but I think we can just talk about all these Lauri Markkanen rumors here today. Basically, there are three rumors out there that are probably the most important to be paying attention to, but there's some more rumors coming in every day. The first one comes from Brian Windhorst from the Hoop Collective. Basically, what we're hearing from them, and you can go to the Hoop Collective podcast and listen to that whole thing. I think it starts about the 20-minute mark on the Hoop Collective podcast. But basically, the Jazz are welcoming trade talk. We're hearing that from Jake Fisher as well. But basically, the Jazz are that Lauri Markkanen is on the market right now. The Utah Jazz are in trade talks with multiple people. This comes from Brian Windhorst. There are multiple teams calling the Jazz, and the Jazz are listening. Like I said, the Jazz are welcoming trade talks. That is the second rumor from Jake Fisher. I mean, there's a lot from the Jake Fisher article. You can go to Yahoo Sports and read that one. But basically, Jake Fisher tells us that there is a team out there really interested in Lauri Markkanen because of them losing out on Klay Thompson, and that is the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are extremely interested in Lauri Markkanen and very much talking to the Jazz right now about figuring out a trade. The question for the Golden State Warriors is, can they find enough assets to make that happen? From, everything I've seen out there, written rumor-wise, my guess is that the Jazz are somewhere in the realm of asking for a young player, 4 first-round unprotected picks, 2 pick swaps, and that will likely get a deal done. The question is there a team out there that wants to do that? And is there a team out there that is able to do that? That's always the question. But here's what Jake Fisher says. The Jazz are indeed welcoming calls on Markkanen, league sources told Yahoo Sports. Perhaps Utah will ultimately exact a similar offseason to that of Brooklyn, where the Nets once envisioned adding star-level talent alongside Mikal Bridges before determining their best course of action was to enter a rebuild. Thanks to a massive haul from New York. The Jazz, as previously reported at Yahoo Sports, were looking into trading for Bridges, held conversations with Atlanta about both DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, sources said, and we're working to assemble a group around Markkanen that could have possibly drawn George's eye. So that's basically what's happened, is Utah tried to get Mikal Bridges, and it certainly seems like once that did not happen, the Jazz have pivoted in their plan. And it looks like because they know what Mikal Bridges was able to get, they're trying to get that as well. So we'll see what they do. It's still very likely, I guess, that they could just cut off these trade talks if there are teams out there just not willing to give them what they want. But it certainly seems like at this point, the trade is more likely than not. Can always change. Finally, the other rumor, this comes from Zach Lowe and hit the Low Post podcast with him and Bobby Marks. You can go listen to that as well and listen to the whole conversation. But the name they put out there that's important to watch, according to them, is the San Antonio Spurs. They talked a lot about how that could work and what that possibility could be. But apparently the San Antonio Spurs are very interested in Lauri Markkanen, most likely talking to the Jazz right now in terms of trades. So Spurs, Warriors, multiple other teams that we possibly don't know about. Let me know in the comments, what team do you think the Jazz should be trading Lauri Markkanen to? What assets would you like? Personally, I think also a team that should be thinking about is Houston and also OKC. Those are teams that I think could jump in there and make a trade happen. Could you imagine Lauri Markkanen on the Oklahoma City Thunder? That becomes a really good team really fast. The question is, can the Jazz get the picks they want? And is another team willing to make it happen? Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. What's going to happen is Lauri Markkanen can be on the Jazz. It's crazy town right now. I'll talk to you next time.